It never starts loud. Betrayal rarely screams, it whispers. It slithers quietly into the soul, like smoke slipping under a door. It hides behind a smile, behind noble-sounding motives, behind prayers. It disguises itself as concern, as logic, as love. And before anyone knows it, the knife is already in the back. He walked beside the Son of God. He ate at his table. He saw blind men open their eyes and lame men leap like deer. He saw demons tremble, storms bow to a whisper, and the dead breathe again. He heard heaven speak through a man in dusty sandals, and still, he traded it all for 30 coins. This isn't just Judas's story. It's ours. Because if betrayal could grow in the heart of someone that close to Jesus, then we all need to ask, what's growing quietly in mine? Judas wasn't always a villain. In the beginning he was just like the others, wide-eyed, hungry for truth, willing to leave everything to follow this carpenter from Nazareth. He stood in the crowd when Jesus called ordinary men to do extraordinary things, and he stepped forward when his name was spoken. Judas smiled. Maybe he didn't understand everything, but he believed enough to follow. He left home. He joined the movement. He stood shoulder to shoulder with men who would one day turn the world upside down. He was handed responsibility, the group's treasurer, trusted with their money bag. They only knew. But Jesus knew. Even then he knew. And still he chose him. The change didn't happen overnight. That's the danger of it. It started as a whisper in the heart, barely noticeable. Judas wasn't evil from the start. He was just ambitious. But ambition unguarded becomes idolatry. Mary walked in with an alabaster jar. She broke it open and poured perfume, pure, fragrant, and worth a year's wages, onto Jesus's feet. The aroma filled the room like worship. And Judas's first thought wasn't awe. It was irritation. He sounded noble. Righteous even, but it was a lie. Jesus let him stay. The upper room was heavy with emotion. Jesus had washed their feet, even Judas's feet. He knelt before the man he knew would soon betray him. As the bread was broken and the cup passed around, Jesus said, "One of you will betray me." Judas said, "Rabbi." Teacher. Not Savior. And Jesus looked into his eyes and replied, "You have said so." He stood and walked out into the night. And it was night. He moved quickly. Through the streets of Jerusalem, beneath the cover of darkness, his feet carried him to the high priest's chambers. "What are you willing to give me?" he asked. They counted the silver. Later that night, Jesus knelt in a garden, sweat like blood dripping from his brow. "Not my will but yours," he prayed. Judas walked at the front, cloaked in shadow, leading the ones who had come to arrest his friend. "Greetings, Rabbi." Then he kissed him. The symbol of love became the sword of betrayal. "Friend, why have you come?" Jesus was arrested, beaten, mocked. And Judas stood alone, clutching silver that felt like fire. He ran to the priest, shouting, "I have sinned." They shrugged. "That's your responsibility." He stumbled out, weeping. He couldn't undo it. He found a tree, and ended his own story. The priests bought a field to bury strangers. They called it the field of blood. He regretted what he did. But he never returned to Jesus. We too have walked with Jesus. And yet, how often have we sold him out? For comfort, money, silence, or pride? Peter failed too. But Peter came back. Judas could have run into the arms of mercy. But instead he let shame win. You are not too far gone. If you still have breath, you still have a choice. Run back. Return weeping. And be forgiven.